A priest, a Boy Scout, a smart man and a rich man are on a plane when, heard this joke multiple ways, usually without the rich man, and with the smart man replaced by any politician you don't joke all around. Priest to the rich man, please, let the boy take a man, fuck the boy. Priest, do we have time? What gets me is that the first two left the boy alone with the priest. Ah, good old joke 44. One of my favorites. A priest and a young boy alone in a plane. Is Trump the smart one? The priest and boy are left alone in the plane. Priest whispers to boy, you know this plane is not the only thing that's gonna go down. It's funny because smart people are stupid. To the guy that made this joke, why call him a smart man when he was stupid enough to take that bet? Bob found out he was about to inherit $2 billion. Have never heard this, and boy, you left us too soon. He spotted her at her dad's house? I don't get it. A man comes home from work and yells, honey, start packing, I just won $2 billion in the lottery apostrophe. The wife says, where are we going? Paris, London, the tropics apostrophe. He says, I don't care where you go, just get the fuck out. She married his father on his deathbed and now she gets to inherit. Don't count your chicks before the hatch. The ending would be much better as 3 days later he saw her at his father's house. What are you doing here, Arlene? Bob asked. She replied, it's okay Bob, you can call me Mom. Bob sat down and cried. Joke's on me for reading this whole thing. She married a corpse? Or am I missing something? Fast food prices are almost approaching sit-in restaurant prices. It's actually cheaper to order from a nearby Mexican restaurant in my area. At Taco Bell I can get like 3 tacos and a burrito and it'll cost more than ordering a restaurant steak fajita burrito that comes with rice and beans and also chips and salsa. I love Mexican food but sometimes I just want Taco Bell and it's crazy how much cheaper it is to order a restaurant entree with sides. Yes. And you have to wait pretty long for most orders. I really can't comprehend why do people still eat this shit. I usually eat pretty healthy, but KFC was always my guilty pleasure. Those prices are ridiculous now. 3-piece meal for $12. WTF is this? Have you been to a sit-in place recently? Because the prices are out of control. I'm cooking at home now for what feels the same price as an affordable sit-in 4 years ago. God summons Adam and Eve. The oldest computer can be traced back to Adam and Eve. It was an Apple but with extremely limited memory. Just one byte. And then everything crashed. Oh yes, oh God, oh yes, right there, ooh, God, hey Adam, where's Eve? Adam down washing in the not good. I'm never going to get that smell out of the fish now. And Adam laid with his wife Eve and they had 2 sons, and then the entire world was populated. Thoughtful face. Eve was not the first woman. I told my wife she should have been a geologist studying tectonic plates, but she definitely rocks your world. Well, at least she doesn't take relationships for granted. She sounds nice. This post moves me. Bet that shook her up. Sounds like there's a rupture in your relationship. She's got a heart of gold. She crushed white. They always shift the blame. Smiley face. Sounds like she was an earth-shattering find. Geologists know how to make the bedrock. Someone used continental drift. I can't for the life of me think of a statement. Sad face. Sounds like there's a rift in your relationship. She study your rocks? Embarrassed smiley face. My wife is an archaeologist. She's good at digging up the past. It's crazy how hard it is for the average person to save a year's salary. Incredible dedication. I wish I had that level of self-control. It's not just about money, it's about happiness and peace of mind. Yep, almost like the average global minimum wage hasn't kept up with cost of living for around, I don't know, 30 years or so. It's crazy how hard it is for employers to pay their employees well. I bet it's hard for rich people to save their entire year's salary too. Living with parents that don't want you to spend personal money, saying to keep it for my future. Not gonna complain, thumbs up. Other than living with parents, yeah, seems almost impossible to save up. It's easy to save a year's salary, just not your own. Save someone's who earns about 10 of what you do. Major scientific breakthroughs are mainly credited to corporations, not individuals as was tradition in previous centuries. Because new scientific breakthroughs are now incredibly tough and expensive to us, rarely one person who does it. It's usually a team and millions of dollars more often than not billions worth of equipment. Not totally true. If you're in a scientific field, you realize certain names are famous. Also, You know Tesla and Einstein names through history courses, now we've yet to pick specific names from our current era that have more weight than other ones, just like every names of politicians or artists that will mark history. My contract when I did RD removed any personal claim to any work I'd done, barred me from doing similar work for rival companies or personally for X years, and had very heavy NDAs. Einstein wouldn't be a thing if this was around in the 1940s. We'd have BombCorp, a subsidiary of ExplodeMart. People told Beethoven he'd never succeed as a musician because he was deaf. If you go to his grave, they play his music backwards cause he's decomposing. I told my new girlfriend that my mother is deaf, so she would have to speak loudly and slowly. I told my mother that my new girlfriend is disabled. This is going to be fun. I heard that his response was, I don't know what you're talking about. People always told Beethoven that his music was terrible and that he needs to practice a lot more. But their complaints fell on deaf ears. People told Vincent van Gogh that he would never be a famous artist after cutting his ear. Said, I can't hear you. When I was a kid I told my family I'll be comedian and they all laughed. At one is laughing now. My grandma had almost this exact quote on her fridge. It was an unintentional pun from a foreign grad student. Must have been hard for him to hear. Good thing he already was an accomplished musician when he became deaf. Would have been unheard of otherwise. Some people masturbate more than they brush their teeth. What the heck else is my other hand supposed to do when I'm brushing my teeth? Well, I don't brush my teeth 3 times a day, so yeah, I've never brushed my teeth on a lazy Sunday and then thought to myself, yeah, I could brush my teeth again, why not? Are there people who brush their teeth 6 times a day? Some people use their toothbrush to masturbate. Some people masturbate while they brush their teeth. I mean, I've never brushed my teeth for 3 straight hours. Okay, but counterpoint. I always have my dick with me. My toothbrush is all the way in the bathroom. Thanks for the reminder to brush my teeth. And then masturbate again. One way or another, gotta generate those pearly whites. It's me. I'm bitches. Have never woke up in the middle of the night and fancied brushing my teeth. Why the fuck would I brush my teeth 11 times a day? We not new, it's now called veteran baiting. Till Kenny G's recording Going Home is a mega hit in China, played at the end of TV broadcasts and during the closing of shopping malls, food courts, and train stations to symbolize finishing one's activity and wrapping up for the day. Many Chinese, when asked, say they associate the song with the need to finish their activity and go home, although they may not even know the name of the song or its artist. Kenny G has said that, when he played it mid-concert in China, the audience got up and left early. Ha 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 ha. Damn, Kenny G made closing time for the Chinese, going home, exit all the let you out into China. I'd never heard that song before. And once I heard it, I did not care for it. But that song means it's time to go home. Now, it's my favorite song. Till Velcro hates it when you use Velcro as an actual word. Hook and loop fastener. Xerox, Kleenex, and Frisbee have entered the chat. Nintendo had a similar problem when parents kept referring to game consoles as Nintendos. I understand they want to keep their exclusive branding, but unfortunately for them there's literally zero reason for anyone else to care about a large company keeping their trademark. Becoming ubiquitous in business is a double-edged sword. If your brand name becomes the default word, it means it can become an exhausted trademark and others can start using it. So, if I go to a shop, I should ask the clerk, where can I find hook and loop fasteners? Is that what they prefer? I imagine they'd want me to ask for Velcro by name. Fun fact, Velcro was invented by Vulcans and it funded Homer Hickham's education. Till about Oliver Sipple, a man who stopped an assassination attempt on US President Gerald Ford in 1975. However, the news also told that this man was gay, and because of that it generated great controversy, even so that the president only wrote a note thanking him and his family disowned him. Holy shit. Till Sipple was outed by Harvey Milk against his will because Milk thought it was a good opportunity to portray gay people in a heroic light. That is kinda shitty NGL. What a world. He served as a decorated US Marine, wounded in Vietnam. He saved the president's life. In return, his family disowned him. He ended up dead at 47, his body undiscovered for 10 days. Till that Roman consular Manius Aquilus was executed by Mithridates of Pontus in 88 BC by having molten gold poured down his throat. If my memory serves me, did this not also happen to Marcus Crassus, who was known as the richest man in Rome, as a mockery to him? This is the same Mithridates who famously made himself immune to most poisons, then tried to poison himself, then disemboweled himself with a sword when that inevitably failed. Maybe he was inspired by Game of Thrones. What a waste of gold. I forgot about this being a thing. How bougie. I think some movie made a depiction of this where dude's jaw straight melted off. Imagine not being able to close your mouth because it's not there and dying. Manius Aquilus's last word, oh, metal. I hope they cut him open afterwards so they could get their gold back. It had served its purpose, no point in letting the dead guy keep it for eternity. Till that during the Jonestown massacre, many of the 900 cult followers refused to drink or administer the poisoned flavor aid to their children. And so they were just killed. Either shot in the head or poisoned by being injected with the cyanide. There's an excellent documentary called Jonestown: The Life and Death of People's Temple, and survivors describe what happened along with audio recordings towards the end of the film. I recall one of the escapees who described seeing a bunch of people showing up with guns, refusing to call it suicide, and justifiably so. A sincere need to mention Senator Leo Ryan Jr., a guy who risked his life and lost it, trying to sort out the entire mess. Added Representative, not. I might not agree with some of his political views and statements, but this guy was an absolute legend for literally traveling to the lair of a doomsday cult and openly facing off against them. Still, that the Irish flag is green, white and orange because green represents Roman Catholics in the country, orange represents Protestants, and white representing the peace between them. Reminds me of a man gets stopped at a checkpoint in Ireland by two Irishmen with rifles. What are ya, Protestant or Catholic? Man, I'm Jewish. Guard pauses, confers with fellow guard. Jewish Catholic or Jewish Protestant? On my spring break overseas trip in 1985, me, being from Tennessee, stepped off the plane in Dublin in a bright orange UT hoodie. I am 16 and totally oblivious to the troubles in Northern Ireland. One of the guardie waved me over and kindly explained to me just how kicked my butt could get wearing orange in Ireland. He was nice about it and looking out for me, but I got the point. I changed quickly and had a great trip. Till when Bob Dylan first heard the Animals' version of House of the Rising Sun on his car radio, he stopped to listen, jumped out of his car and banged on the bonnet. It later became one of the reasons why he went electric. And when he did go electric, oh my god, that performance of Like a Rolling Stone in Manchester. He gets called Judas by a heckler, turns to the band and yells, "Play it fucking loud," and rocks that shit into history. One of my favorite musical moments. The Animals version is like a top 5 track for me. Just impeccable. Also, apparently Dylan only played Hot R's once in concert since his original recording. And it was in Newcastle in 2007. Where the Animals had come from. Why did he give up on internal combustion after listening to a song? The mechanics of zombies doesn't really work. Easily explained by living beings getting away after being bitten, and then turning. Never had the chance to eat them. A concept in which human bodies can continue to function after death, and only a shot to the head will usually stop motor activity. And this is the bit you think doesn't work? In the old days, zombies just wanted brains. How many Big Macs can you eat? An arm must be about 4 Big Macs. Maybe they get full. Bro took his shower in 2005 this morning. They would become desiccated in a fairly short time or freeze solid in cold climates. We don't need to hear you knows this already. They decay and fall apart if this was RL. If it wasn't undead and just a virus, then it would be a problem. It's fantasy, it's whatever works for the story. The pond. How can you tell if a pond in Florida has alligators? Bend down, touch the water. If the water is wet, it has alligators. One line too long. Both parents laughed at that one. Thanks. The women sat down and cried. Florida man is savage. The women fainted. They all went to the deep. Have a deep end? When you tell a joke, trust your audience, let them figure out that, or just tell them. That is the punchline, and this is funny, so now it's time for you to laugh. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. If you're going to ruin it completely. And? Did he feed the alligator? What is a small, everyday decision you made that unexpectedly changed your life for the better? I put placemats on the refrigerator shelves. It's been keeping them clean, making it part of my bedtime routine to do the dishes before I go upstairs and get ready for bed. Usually I just can't be asked, but I've trained myself to do it anyway. It takes 10 minutes, and when I walk into the kitchen the next morning, I'm always pleasantly surprised by how nice and clean it looks. Puts me in a good mood while I make my coffee and breakfast, and starts the day off just right. Initiating greetings with neighbors sparked friendships I never expected in my own community. Getting some level of workout in every day except rest days. 10 push-ups a day is a lot more than 0. Removing social media apps from my phone led to better focus and more free time for hobbies. What is the most common lie husbands tell their wives? It looks fine. We really have no idea if it's fine or not, we just wanted to get going. I'd love to go to X on my day off. How much my tools really cost? I'm fine. Yes, I'm happy to go to the mother-in-law's again for the 2nd time this week. Yes, I do want to do eat see insert something she wants here. Wife holds up 2 dresses and asks which I like better, and I tell her I like the one on the left. The truth is they both look equally nice, and I have no way to quantify or determine which looks better. But many years of experience tells me that if I say they're the same, she'll get upset and tell me that can't possibly be true. and then she'll choose the other one. Every single time. Oh, I was in there for an hour because my stomach is upset. I wasn't mindlessly scrolling through Reddit. You're right, I just wasn't thinking it through. I only had 2 drinks. What phrase needs to die immediately? People don't like me because I tell it like it is. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Alpha male. Tell me you don't insert thing without telling me you don't insert thing. Sorry, not sorry. I was today years old when POV followed by a video that is not, in fact, POV. Louder for the people in the back cringe. I didn't have the wrist, so she ghosted me. Skibidi, take me back, referring to a holiday. For some reason I just hate it. You're not a real man woman if you can't don't. It's giving. Like, literally, I can't even. This one is just excessive and doesn't add any value to a conversation. Let's cut it out. Thoughts and prayers. Nobody. It's my truth. No dickhead, there is the truth and nothing else. Not a phrase, but people need to stop would've and could've. When celebrities use this addendum phrase, a human being. Hubby wifey. What's the most common lie employers tell their employees? We just don't have the money for that. That you owe them loyalty. You done are a number in SAP that costs money. Once you are replaceable or your skill set is no longer required, you're done. No matter your situation in life. If you just do this extra work until the other position is filled, you will be rewarded later. You aren't allowed to discuss your pay salary. We are like a family here. You may have heard some rumors that insert bad thing here is happening, but I'm here today to tell you that this isn't the case. We care about mental health. Nah, you don't want bad press or lawsuits. Your job is safe. This in so many ways is, well, you get the picture. We believe in work-life balance. We care about you. HR is your friend. Unlimited vacation days really means minimal vacation days. What's the most devastating thing your spouse partner so has ever said to you? After 6 years together, I never meant for it to get serious. My ex-husband one day said he was going for a haircut and never came home and didn't answer his phone for 6 hours. When he finally answered, he said, I didn't really go for a haircut. I left and I'm not coming back. I'm staying here with my mistress and the baby we have together. I'm going to die. This is where I am going to die. My girlfriend said this to me a few hours before suffering brain death from a sinus infection. After my siblings tried to screw me out of an inheritance, my husband blamed me for the whole mess and then told me he would have never married me if he'd known what a dysfunctional mess of a family I had. We'd been married 20 years at that point. Me, are you cheating on me? Yes. I don't want to be the girl who got with a guy that no one else wanted. What's the most fucked up thing you ever heard? My cousin went on a work trip and when she came home, she found her boyfriend dead in the living room. Their dogs had chewed off most of his face. I have no idea how she was able to cope with that kind of trauma. I feel sick just thinking about it. I used to volunteer and live at an orphanage in Central America. We had volunteers from the US, Canada, and some European countries. I was getting to know a new volunteer from Canada and we were kind of flirting back and forth, and all of a sudden she decides to tell me that her mother used to take videos of her father raping her, the volunteer. I was so stunned I couldn't even respond. My uncle talking about killing my great uncle. I don't know the whole context, but I believe my great uncle sexually abused my mom.